Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to Soul Guidance with Adriana. I'm a transformative life coach and abundance consultant. I help sensitive souls work on themselves and their business to the highest vibration possible. I've got an intuitive message for you today. We're going to start with your animal message. I love this card. This is Owl Wisdom. What I love about this card is the layers. We've got a woman with an owl, but then she's surrounded by a bigger owl who has his wings down. But in the back, we have wings opening up. So we're really looking at multiple layers of wisdom, multiple layers of messages, and inner message taking wings, inner wisdom taking wings, taking flight. Okay, this is a very powerful card, I feel, for you. And if you have any Capricorn in your chart, you also might want to check out the Capricorn reading. There's a correlation here. This is card number 4, and they had card 22. So there might be a double message for you there. Okay, looking at inner wisdom, being sure that you are looking at the facts and the reality of a situation and allowing that wisdom to unfold. All right, let's look at the rest of your cards. I'm curious to see how this fits together. We have 10 of Wands. Growth through trial. Okay. And my guides are just saying the word drop, 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 drop over and over. This is about dropping the burdens. Some of these are ancestral burdens. That's coming through strongly right now. You're carrying a lot of stuff that doesn't belong to you. It's likely this figure is carrying things for other people, or perhaps he doesn't need these many wands, but you have picked up too much, whether this is energy, whether this is responsibility that you've taken on, or whether this is, it feels like these are beliefs that you've taken on that are too much. They're too much for you. I want to get a little bit more clear about what they're saying. Is this regarding others, or is this regarding you're trying to change too much too fast, okay? And you've taken upon yourself to do all of this shifting and all of this changing. And I think there's a time for that to unfold, but just keep in mind you're doing this to yourself, okay? The universe isn't asking you to do this. You're doing this to yourself. All right, let's look at beneficial and challenging energy. Love this High Priestess, so connected with here. Goddess of Wisdom is Athena, and she reminds me of this High Priestess. Okay, challenging energy, the Tower. Now, I kind of feel like the Tower is a good thing, that this 10 of Wands is headed for the Tower, headed for dropping these things that don't work. But I feel like my guides are trying to say something different, so I'm going to listen for a second. The Tower is inviting a catastrophe. It is inviting some kind of big cataclysmic event, and that is what you are trying to rush. I feel, Scorpio, you're so eager for this to happen. You want it to happen so badly that you're taking it upon yourself to move this showdown to happen faster than it really needs to. The power of the High Priestess, and I've got a lot of chills right now, is the wisdom of stillness, the trust and the understanding that within stillness and within waiting, those are not passive actions. Passive is like, I can't do anything about it, I'm going to let go. This is waiting and listening and watching for the right time, which to me is actually takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of, it's not a restful, passive thing. To wait and listen really takes a lot of energy. Ask anyone who has ever been on guard or has been watching. It's a lot of energy to stay alert. It's a lot of energy to stay really connected and not to force the energy to come through. In my own personal experience, it's a lot harder. My guides are talking and talking and talking. That's great. But when they're not talking and there are big pauses and maybe days between by asking the question and the answer coming, that's a lot of effort, because I have to keep myself as high as possible, knowing that I may just hear silence on the other end, but knowing that if I drop, then I might miss the message. So there's a bigger responsibility actually in listening and waiting for your inner timing to speak to you, for your inner knowing to speak to you. It's a lot harder actually than carrying other people's things. And you're like, well, this feels pretty hard right now. But you're going to benefit more if you can drop and just surrender to your divine feminine energy. I love the little kitty in the back of this card, because Kitty, the little cat, cats wait, right? They wait for the right moment. They're looking and they're waiting and they're watching. When they hunt, they don't just run after things, right? They wait and they look for something to come their way. And, you know, it's the same with my cat. He's always watching and he's always waiting for that right time, the right time to come over, the right time to say hello. He doesn't push, he doesn't force. You know, a dog is like in your face and smelling things that they probably shouldn't be smelling. And that's great. You know, I love that kind of ebullient, full energy, but there is such a feminine wisdom in waiting for that right time, rather than trying to make it happen, even if it seems like it's where everyone needs to go. Okay, let's look a little bit further. Prince of Swords and Five of Wands. Your moment, it will come. Your moment is going to come. This is describing the future. This is that moment that the High Priestess is waiting for. She's waiting for a moment where you can see that the energy around you is not going anywhere, but you're going to see a way to stop the pattern. You're going to see a way to cut through this futile use of energy, and it's just going to be very clear and it's going to be very succinct in what you're going to have to do, okay? And it's going to come very quickly. Prince of Swords is always a fast-moving card. We've got the Five of Wands with it, which is another quick energy. And again, this is trusting that inner wisdom. If there's a reason why there's a space between the ask and the action, it's because there is more information that needs to come through to you before you can make this quick cutting off of the previous energy, right? So we're looking for the wisdom to come in and tell us, once you put him in action, he can't turn back. And I feel like this surety and this focus of the Prince of Swords comes out of that kind of culmination point, right? It's like information comes in, you keep getting more and more and more, and suddenly the pot is full and like, all right, here's where I'm going. This is what I have to do. But if you try to force that before it's ready to go, it doesn't work. I'm going to draw one more card for you. All right. The Cherunos, the devil. What are they trying to tell us here? Right now is a very, very tricky time. Okay. I know it's very trite to say nothing is what it seems, but I know that energy is very dark right now. People that are habitually negative are even more negative. People that are habitually depressed are even more depressed. There is a darkness. It's like a dark shade, and this would kind of make sense. We're approaching solstice, which is the shortest day, the longest night. So the dark is looking like it is taking over. And that's why it's so important not to move before you are told, not to take action before your inner wisdom says, yes, this is the time. Okay? even though we talked about the wings outspread, it's like an angel's wings outspread, this is passive. He's got his wings down. When things are light and sunny, there's less chance of danger, meaning that it's more forgiving if you act at the wrong time. So for instance, if you're out walking in a sunny meadow and you slip and you fall, you trip on a rock or something, maybe it doesn't, it's not as bad as if it's like dark and raining and slippery and treacherous and there's lots of wind. You'll probably get hurt worse falling the same way just because of the conditions that are around you. And so the energy right now is not leaving a lot of room for error. And I know that can feel like a lot of pressure on those of us that are trying to bring more light into the world, but just know that there's just not a lot of wiggle room. It's like the right timing is precisely now. It's not a little bit before, a little bit after, or a few days here. It's this moment. And we just have to be ready. We just have to be open and willing to go there. Because the wrong step taken at the wrong time right now, it has really far-lasting consequences. And I believe, Scorpio, that we need to be very careful here. That you need to be very careful here. And be absolutely sure that you have connected to this energy before you go out here, okay? That you've connected to the High Priestess, that divine feminine energy first, before anything goes out. This is going to be a time of less actions than usual. I believe the time for more actions is going to come in January. But, in general, you can expect to be acting less, pushing forward less. Let me see if there's any last energy that wants to come through. I want to talk a little bit about the Meerkat card. This was for Sagittarius. I just did the Sagittarius reading. But this card talks about being responsible both ways, not just for our behavior, but asking other people to be responsible for theirs. And it's this, we're in this together, and there's crucial moments where the energy can shift. But there's crucial moments where the energy is not wanting to shift because more dark is being funneled into it. Okay, so we have to be aware of these crucial moments because that is our responsibility. Okay, and we can't ask everyone else to shift if we're not doing our responsibility as well. Okay, Scorpio. Wow, I didn't expect to go to the collective with that one, but thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I have a new solstice New Year's reading coming out. Nothing's posted about it yet, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. If you can't wait and you want to learn more, please email me soulguidancewithadriana@gmail.com, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Many peace and blessings your way.